Welcome to the Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Hany Rambod, and I'm a little bit out of breath because I just got done whooping this dude's butt sitting across from me. Welcome, Shaun Clarida, two-time Olympia 212 champion.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the house. And we got the new sign. So for those of you that are only watching this on YouTube, you can see it. For those of you that are not watching on YouTube, go back and check it out because the new Truth sign has finally been finished. So what do you think?
This is awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for having me here again.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being the first guest with the new sign.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. It's late night. It's about, well, not that late, but 8 p.m. And you came in. I told you whenever you want to come in, train. And so came in and trained back and hit it up here at the gym at the HQ. And then what we did was getting together and got the boys together and started saying, let's throw a podcast. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
now we got the sign. Now I got to just finish up the rest of this. And, the gym's almost completed. There's only a couple more things that need to be done. Get some of the cool signs. I want to get the pictures up of all the guys.
It's an awesome gym
Yeah.
now.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sick gym.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I want to get I want to get some of the posters of all the guys. Just like some cool shit.
Nice.
I want to get the, quad stomp got to go up there
Big J.
from
absolutely.
09. We got to get Phil.
Phil.
Well, Phil, yeah, I got to decide if I want to do that crazy most muscular. There's a good most muscular him, or there's a box most muscular where he's, hands clasped. I don't know.
All of Phil's shots are just crazy. It's like, how do you just pick one?
That's the hard part because he's got a couple of real good knockout shots. But, where Jay, it's always the 09 foot stomp because that's kind of the most iconic picture out there for him. And I feel with Jay, it's just so super cut and dry. With Phil, there's a couple of really good ones I like from different Olympias. I even like the one where he's coming out on like 2011.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I like the
walkout
coming out walkout one.
Yeah, the walkout one is pretty dope. Yeah, where's the walkout one? 2011. There it is. There it is. That's it right there. That's it. Yeah, right there. Walking out.
Yep.
It's the fourth picture over right there. Yep. Click on that. That's it.
Sheesh.
The walk out.
Just looks so fake there.
Yeah. That's it, man. That was it. Yeah, he's got a lot of good shots, but that's
What did he weigh here? Like, what's that weight?
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember. 2011, his first Olympia. I think we were around 240. I want to say 235, 240. I had to go back and look at notes, but it was probably right in that range.
Scary.
At the first Olympia. I mean, 2010, he was close too against Jay. That was not something that was a super cut and dry thing as much as, some people thought it was. That was really close. That's why I told Jay too. I'm like, hey man, I was like, hey man, you better start getting, Phil's getting close, homie. You gotta start thinking about that.
I always wonder, as a spectator or a fan looking at what you do, like, how do you have the top two guys? Like, how do you separate that? I mean, you got the top two guys going against each other. I guess for you as a coach is to get these guys at their best and let them do their job.
Yeah, because what you do is, and this is something that some people, but most won't understand, but some will. When you're working with athletes, you can't think of one over another. You just try to bring them in their best because they may not go 1-2. I mean, that obviously that's ideal to some degree, but what you're trying to do is just get them to be able to be their best. Perfect example was in 2009. 2008, Phil placed third. 2009, everyone's like, okay, he's going to be in the top three again. Phil ended up getting sick, and then Jay came in his all-time best, foot stomp year. So first and fifth, and Kai ended up beating Phil that year by 1 point, and Kai was fourth. And then the following year, when everything was fine, and 1-2, and then the other year, it was just like a Hany versus Derek, where Hany won the first year against, Derek. Derek was second in his first Olympia. Then the following year, it was a flip-flop. And then it was the same thing that happened with Jay and Phil, where the first year that they went up against each other, the 1-2 was in 2010. Jay won his fourth Olympia title. Phil was second. And then in 2011, Phil won. And then Phil obviously went on to win 7 more, or 6 more after that, which is 7 total. But what you're doing is you're not trying to look at any other athlete but the athlete you're working with. and then you're trying to focus on just bringing that person in their best. Not a lot of people realize that it's not a matter of, oh, is one going to be more than the other? Who do you like more that you're going to give more attention to? It's not that at all. It's who's willing to listen, and you give the exact same amount of attention, and whoever can create the best game plan for the execution of the plan you're giving them. And that's what it's all about.
And emotionally, how do you deal with that? I mean, you got a guy who just won, and you got a guy who just lost.
It's hard because the first year was easier, because when you had Hany win, it was his first win, and he was close several times, where he was third his first Olympia, and a lot of people thought he could have won that one against Brandon. And then when he turned around and his second Olympia, he came in, was 2020. He was right behind Phil, because Phil had come back that year, and Phil was third, and he was a point behind Phil, so he was fourth, and he came 2 days before the Olympia because it was the COVID year, and it took literally he got there like a day before the Olympia from the Middle East. And then the 2021 year, again, went back to third place. Then 2022, he ends up winning, right? And when he won there, and then it was obviously Derek's first time in the Open at that point. Seeing them go 1-2, everybody's happy because Derek's happy to be in the top two.
Yeah, of course.
And then Hany was obviously happy to win finally. And so everybody was happy at that point.
What's up, guys? Hany Rambod here, 24-time Olympia winning coach. And now I'm giving you the opportunity to use my app for the next 2 weeks for completely free. Check it out. Hit the link below.
With Jay in 2011, he tore his bicep, right? Yeah. And what happened was that he tore his bicep a couple weeks out because he was picking up a weight and he was in the middle of a shoot for Muscle Tech. And then he told me when I got there the week out, and I go, dude, how come you didn't send me, tell me what happened? He's like, because I didn't want you freaking out. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, I was putting some weights back and, just.
Tour.
Yep. Wow. So when that happens, it's a little bit more cut and dry because you can just sit there and say, okay, look, from the trauma of his arm was off, it was black and blue. Yeah. And then you turn around and his body just didn't peak right because of that.
Of course.
And obviously it was the later age, he got a little bit older, and again, his peak was in 2009. 2010, he still looked really good and good enough to win. Mm-hmm. But then by the time 11 happened and he had the bicep tear in the photo shoot that he had for Muscle Tech, I think that was the big thing, because I remember right when I saw it, I go, this is going to be a problem. Right when I saw it, I go, this isn't going to clear up in a week, because I came out a week out early and it just happened like several days before I got there.
Too much trauma to the body.
Mm-hmm. And it was, and even though we were able to get it to that point where he could still play second, it wasn't enough to be able to be anywhere close to his best. And so I knew that was going to be a difficult task. Yeah. And then you turn around and Phil was starting to peak. Like his physique was starting to really peak in 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Like that's when he was, even 10, he was giving Jay some problems in 10 too. But it was close enough where they gave it to Jay. But I think that in 11, it was like I said, Phil was in such a good spot that it was just like, it was just too much at that point. He looked really, really good. But, when you turn around and look at it all, let's talk a little bit about your situation, because you're a guy that you won your first 212 Olympia in 2020?
20, correct.
Right. And before that, how many times did you do the Olympia since then?
I started in 2015.
2015.
Dead last.
Dead last.
Dead last.
And you were doing, oh man, you weighed probably like what, 160 pounds?
154.
154, which is like the amateur lightweight.
Like lightweight.
Mm-hmm. Like literally lightweight.
Literally
like
lightweight
Ronnie would say, lightweight baby. You were a lightweight.
I was literally a lightweight baby.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
but that being said, you qualified for the Olympia in your first year as a pro, and then you placed last. Yeah. Right. Which last basically means tied for 16th or 15th or whatever they say, right? And what about the second year?
13th.
Okay, so you just moved up.
Just moved up 3 spots.
Okay.
And then 13th to 9th to 7th. You know, just little by little.
Then
Third,
then
second, and then
there
boom.
you go.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest change that helped you go from 154-pound last place competitor in 2000 and was that 15 or 16?
15.
15 to winning your first Olympia in 2020, 5 years later?
Just my body matured. You know, finally settling into, you know, and improving and better, conditioning getting better, putting on more muscle, but still keeping that conditioning and core tight. Just came into my own, honestly. I felt really good, and, you know, I was 179 pounds when I won my first Olympia in 2020. So that's a significant increase in mass, you know, from my initial 2015 appearance.
Yeah, especially on your, what, 5'1"?
5'2" on a good day.
On a good day. 5'2" on a good day.
With some good shoes.
Depending if you, what shoes he's wearing and if he was stretched out or not.
Yeah. If I did back, then no, but yeah, you know, I mean, 2015 dead last. Honestly, I was okay with that. Like, it's my first Olympia, right?
Right.
I mean, I cried when I even got there and saw the arena a couple of days out. I went and looked.
Now, were you married back then?
No,
Okay.
but I was still with Rosangela, and, you know, I just cried like a little baby just because I had made it to the Super Bowl. You know, but I said this isn't it for me. I'm gonna come back, and I've qualified every year since then. And obviously now being a champ, you qualify for life.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's just you know, honestly, I believed I'd be Mr. Olympia since I started competing back in 2005. I honestly believe I could be it.
And what'd you weigh then?
My first show, 118.
118. So,
Jacked.
and this is what really is it's a great story. You are 118 pounds at 5'2" on a good day. And you sit down and say, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia someday. Right. And so for you to be able to go, here's a picture right there.
Oh, thanks. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that guy, honestly, as much as people laughed and, you know, thought I was crazy, and I believed I could be Mr. Olympia one day, even though I couldn't hit most muscle the right way. But I knew eventually I'd get there. I mean, I literally said that. Like, I have never been to Olympia. I made a pact to myself when I first started competing that I would never go to Olympia unless I'm competing. So my first time at the Olympia was in 2015 when I qualified.
You're kidding me.
That was the goal. I said I will never go and watch as a spectator unless I'm on that stage.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That says a lot. But I mean, you had a lot of vision there. What was it that helped you get through the times where you're like, hey, I want to go through and be able to hit this goal? Is it somebody that was always there for you? Was it a coach? Was it, you know, what was it?
Honestly, I'm just that guy. Honestly, like I strive off of that almost a little bit. When people say it's impossible, you can't do it, or you're too small, or it's never gonna happen. Like that's not my motivation, but I use that as fuel, and I still use it to this day. You know, and that's just the kind of guy I am. I've always believed that. I always had this no plan B mentality. Like, if I want something, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get that. No matter how long it takes to get there, I'm gonna make it happen. Again, believing I can be Mr. Olympia back in 2005. Took me a couple of years, but I finally got it right.
You did.
So
you did, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. Same thing with Derek. Derek said the same thing. I mean, he came to me in 2000 and I don't remember what it was, 16, 17, you know, something like that, and said to me at the Arnold. It was the Arnold Classic, and we were at the booth, and I remember now because he reminded me that he came over to me and he says, "I want to be the next Phil Heath," you know, and I was just laughing. And I go, well, dude, you look a little more like Jay Cutler than you do Phil Heath.
Did you look in the mirror?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, he ends up winning the Mr. Olympia.
Did it?
Yep, he did do it. And I think that, you know, one of the things that we can't turn around and avoid talking about is obviously that he went up against you in the first time I coached him, right? And this is a little awkward because I had this situation with Branch, because Branch was sitting right where you were sitting, and it was the year that 2009, and he placed second, and he told me, he goes, if you wouldn't have coached Jay, I would have been Mr. Olympia.
If you never met Derek, I would have 3 titles right now.
Yes, it's a very true statement.
Yes.
It's a very true statement. And we just happened to meet each other backstage in 2020, and I had Sean Ray and I had Tarek, who came over and said, hey, I want to introduce you to Derek. And I just said, hey, nice to meet you. I never met him before. And I was back there with Hany, and I was, walking back there. I think Phil was back there too, 2020. And then he comes over and he says, hey, man, can I get your number? Can we talk? And I said, sure, give him my number. And I said, yeah, we'll talk. I don't have a 212 guy. Hany because Hany already graduated in 2019 to open, so no 212 guy. And he was coming off as a contract too. So he said, hey, look, I'd be interested to also talking. His contract was ending. And he said, I'd really like to, talk to you about Evogen and talking about coaching. And I said, okay, here's your number. Give me a call in a couple of weeks. Because it was like in December. That Olympia was in December. And so Christmas went by and years went by, and then I ended up getting a phone call. And he shot me a text and we started talking. And then I just kind of get to know the guy a little bit. And luckily for him and I, when we started talking, a lot of that stuff that he had kind of an edge to him previously, which I didn't know about. And I guess, sometimes he'd come across as a little bit abrasive early on in his career. And sometimes, overcompensating, And so I didn't know about that. But the cool thing about it was that he ended up starting to really change as I was coaching him. And I said, hey, look, you got to not only act professional, be professional. And it seemed like the coaching and mentorship was kind of working because people came to me and said, hey, he's kind of acting a bit different now, like in a positive way. Yeah. And so it was a good thing. And I told him, I go, what do you want to do? And he says, I want to go and do the 212 Olympia. I know I can win this Olympia. I've gotten close, but now I'm going backwards because I just placed fourth. Yeah. And I think, and obviously you had just won. Yeah. And I said, well, Shaun looks like a 5'2" Ronnie Coleman. And I told him that. I said, if Shaun had 4 or 5 inches on him, I think he could be beating open guys, like open Olympia. Yeah. Right. And I said, but he's amazing. So you're going to have to really get inside out. And so the crazy thing about it is that, and I haven't told the story very often, but a couple of times that I have told it, it's a self-realization for me because I just said, look, man, I'm going to take on this project, but it's one of those things where I got to get along with the person.
Of course.
And if I don't, I'm a type of person who just says, hey, look, there's been times where I've worked with some people and either in the middle of their off season getting ready for prep, I just said, look, dude, I can't do this. And, I just said, I can't do it. It's not going to work out because I'm not going to sit there and beat my head against a brick wall. Absolutely. And I don't want to get to the point where I'm going to be angry and bitter and it's not worth it. So, or I just end up knowing more about a person and I just don't feel like it's a right fit personality wise. Gotcha. And I'm just like, it's not going to work. And that's happened to me several times where I met somebody and I just felt like, I'm like, man, this guy's work ethic is just not there. And I'm just going to be like, hey, look, I got to move on. And it's just like, you got to cut bait and just have that self-realization, That's
surprising. Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of like beating a girl, man. If the girl's like burping and acting like a fool on her first date, you're going to be like, whoa, it's time to go.
Will you marry me?
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, you got to get along a little bit, especially my system where it's so entrenched in so many different ways of getting to know somebody both on and off the stage, right? Because you got to be able to have them trust you and you have to trust them. And what that means is that they're going to have to trust you for the guidance for them to listen, and you have to trust them to be able to follow the plan, right? And there's so many things that are involved with that. So I have so many young coaches that listen to this podcast, and I get a lot of DMs and people saying thank you so much, or they'll share little bits and pieces. And I always tell people, I go, the number one failure rate is for those that have clients that are listening to too many people.
Of course.
Number one. And when you're starting out, that person is not going to believe in you most of the time until you get a kind of a resume built to say, hey, look, now I'm going to go ahead and this is the guy I should be listening to because look, he's done A, B, and C, right? Absolutely. But you got to earn those stripes. And the hard part is for you to be able to earn those stripes and have that camaraderie where you can kind of go back and forth with somebody and be able to say, hey, look, I'm going to challenge you. Because I was talking to Chris Cook about it, and Chris Cook is a, athlete of mine from 24 years ago. We started working out together 24 years this month. right? And then he ended up winning the USA with me. A couple years later, 3-4 years later, he won the USA, actually back-to-back USAs, but he didn't turn pro because he couldn't win the overall, because back then they only had a couple of pro cards back then. Right. But it was funny because he's here at Evasion now, and we still would talk about it sometimes. And he said to me one day, I can't remember, like about a month ago, and he goes, "Look, dude, back then you were just coming up, so I wasn't going to listen to everything you had to say." Right? That's it. Now you got these guys that actually listen to you. And I was like, goodness. And I said, "Well, you were such a pain in the ass." Yeah. And he goes, "Well, you know, that's what it was like, because as you're coming up with somebody, and I'm green, he's kind of green. Okay. And even though I hadn't won any Olympias yet, I was still turning people pro.
I get it.
And I was just the pro creator back then, starting out. And it's a different thing. So I think that, you know, I guess the whole bit of the conversation came up was that you don't really trust people as you come up with them. And it's kind of a cool thing to go back and reflect on, that you got to kind of earn those stripes.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's something that's very, very important, because bodybuilders, you know what the problem with bodybuilders are, is that they just want to think that they know everything.
Of course.
A lot of them.
Absolutely.
And if you think that way, don't hire a coach. Nope. Just do your own shit.
That's it. I've
told so many people that. I've a ton of people. And I'm like, dude, you need to just go coach yourself, you know? And then what they'll do is they'll go from one coach to another coach.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
and
it.
Go to another coach. And then they'll turn around, and then by the third or fourth coach, they'll come back and try to come back to me.
And they're blaming the coach the whole time.
Yeah, to that coach and that coach or whatever it is. And then they'll come back. And then I'll say, "Hey, look, man, the ship has sailed. I'm done. I'm already past that. I'm on a different journey." But again, instead of me just talking here, blabbing, so I'm sorry, it's really about where I know you. I want to talk about John Meadows. Okay, God rest his soul. You had a good relationship with him, and John was really loved. And the crazy thing about it is, actually, John came to me and asked me to coach him. Yeah, I think I have his text messages in my phone.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he reached out to me a while back, and we just never really connected because I had so many things going on. But everyone who's told me that was close to him, they really, really loved him. Tell me about the relationship with John Meadows, because what year was that you were working with him? And
from 2015 all the way up until his passing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's for a very long time.
Yeah. Was it 6, 7 years?
Yeah, because he was based in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough to talk about him. Oh man, he's a big part of my life, and he was family to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've done, and you know what I've been able to do in the gym, and the way I look and the training, it all came from John's mentorship and his guidance and his knowledge. And you know, it hurts more because I was with him at his house about 3 weeks before he passed. You know, and we were on the phone a week before he passed, talking about the Olympia coming up and meeting up and training and all this. And then I get the phone call on a Sunday from Guy that he had passed. And I didn't leave my house for 3-4 days. I didn't leave my couch for 3-4 days. I didn't train. I didn't care. And I was getting ready for 2020, was it 21 Olympia? Mm-hmm. The year Derek had won. And I just, you know, I said, you know what, John wouldn't want this. John wouldn't want me just, you know, melting and weeping and not training and not preparing for the show. And I went back to the gym, and I just wasn't the same. Honestly, I just was not the same. I wasn't there mentally. I mean, there were literally days I remember, like yesterday, I was literally sitting there in the gym crying, like under the weight, about to do a set, and I was just crying. But I kept thinking about John all the time. He was, you know, a very big instrument in my life. His family was my family, and you know, and to this day we still keep in contact. Mary and his sons. Oh man, you know, I owe a lot to John. You know, and you know, we talked about it at the Olympia, the year I won it again in 2022, and Flex was interviewing me about John, and I just melted on camera, just melted, you know, and yeah, it's one of those things, like it just wasn't real. Mm-hmm. Like John was like, as crazy as it may sound, like I felt like John was invincible. He was just that guy, like just that couldn't be. John no.
Right.
You know, and it's just I owe him so much.
A lot of people do, because you just hear story after story that are very similar to yours. And it's just, it sucks because people don't realize how much somebody is worth to them until they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's a sad moment. That's a sad thing where you should really appreciate people who go out of their way for people in their lives because they're truly caring. And I think John was one of those few guys that was that way. And when I say few, there's a lot of people that will help people, but not everybody helps people with the right reason, right? And he was a type of person, because when I would talk to him and we run into each other in places, and I just hear him speak, and whether it was Instagram or YouTube, and his videos would pop up, it was one of those things where you could just tell he loved it.
Passion.
You know, and I feel like that also kind of maybe what caused his issue at the end, because I think that was the whole thing. Because I kept seeing him, and I'm like, dude, you need to lose some size, because he's had that heart condition thing. And I think that he was a little bit kind of like, hey, you know, I'm going to be okay. And I can't, like I said, I have the text messages. I'm like, dude, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I think I'll be all right. But I just look at him and I'm like, bro, you're still big. You know, if you have a heart issue, you got to scale back your size so it's not so much pressure on your heart. And again, I don't know the extent of how much that would have helped him, but just superficially looking from the outside in, you just go drop the weight so that way it'll just be less stress on your organs. Yeah. But ultimately, he loved bodybuilding. He loved helping people. He loved bodybuilding. And I feel that it was a huge hit to the industry with him gone, you know, because again, many stories like yours from other athletes that I know that were very, very just, they loved the guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a single person in this world that had a bad thing to say about John. And he opened his doors to any and everyone, you know, literally. Mm-hmm. You know, had us in his house. We train in the gym, go back, eat, hang out. It was just, that was John. You know, he'll give you the shirt off his back, literally, if you need to. Like I said, no one has a bad thing to say about him.
No, I haven't heard one person. So, again, I mean, with you going through it, being able to win the Olympia, then obviously Derek came in and won. Mm-hmm. After that, how did you feel that following year when it was? I mean, we were going to do the 212 again. Yeah. Right. Yep. And I know you were trying to bring it, right? Trying to really take it to the next level to try to win back the Olympia. Mm-hmm. And then I guess my thought process at the time was like, okay, we're going to go back against Shaun. We're going to do one more show. You know, you're the number one threat. And, you know, got to keep Derek light to try to compete against you, because that was the whole time. I would just say, hey, we got to do one more Olympia, one more 212 Olympia. And then the following year, if you want to go open, you can go open. But then the whole thing happened where, you know, his weight wasn't really changing. It was still in this 240. 50s, yeah, he lied to me. He said 240s, but he was like almost 250 or whatever it was. Yeah. But and the reason why he looked so good when he guest posed was because of the fact that he was eating so little, like his carbs were low. That's why he was still in really good shape, because his food was so little, and I had him doing so much cardio in the off season, but his weight wasn't going down. And so that whole thing happened because I kept saying, well, you're still going to do the 212. I don't care what they say. They're going to do the whole 212.
Viral.
Yeah. Well, that went viral. But let me ask you this. What did you think? Were you in that point, I want to go back and try to get him again? Or were you just kind of relieved that when there was a consideration of him doing open? Because, again, as a competitor, I know you're hungry and you really want to go against the best guys. Of
course. I mean, it didn't really matter to me, honestly. I was prepared to go against whomever stepped on that stage. But obviously, once you guys made a decision to go into the open, I knew that on paper, technically I was the favorite, but I never let up off the gas whatsoever. Because, again, you got to respect each and every one of those guys.
Yes.
You know? Because, again, I was the guy who was dead last that came up and won.
Right.
So that could happen any given time. So, again, I was prepared either way, for Derek to step on stage or to not step on stage. I wasn't, shortchanging myself or changing things up. I was just going full blast, start to finish. Oh, Derek's going to open? Cool. Still full blast.
Well, and then you ended up deciding to go open, right? You know, and let's talk about that because that was exciting because that kind of blew up the internet.
Oh, that was a second viral moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Honestly, that was something I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to do an open show just to have fun,
Right.
and test myself. You know, the whole giant killer, theme, and it was one of those things that timing was perfect because I was going to be in that area for working in a booth anyway, Wolfpack. And I'm like, hey, it's only 2 weeks later. I mean, so I literally after the Olympia, I sat down. It was literally we were at Chipotle. That was my wife, Matt, his kids. I was
Yeah.
like,
What
hey.
was Matt's reaction to that?
It was actually it was a reaction of both my wife and him had the same. He's like, one, if you're healthy, yes, and two, what do you think you're gonna fall? Like as far as are you gonna be okay with whatever placing? Like, listen, I'm just going out there ultimately having fun. I'm going against the open guys. I have no expectations. Of course, I want to win, but I gotta be realistic too. I'm going against guys some guys are 100 pounds heavier than me.
Right.
But I'm gonna go out there and be my absolute best. And Matt's like, okay, let's do it. Let's roll with it. And people don't really realize that was actually that Olympia of 2021. I was 178. So it was a pound lighter than I was the year prior. Yeah, that's right. Year prior, so I was 178 for that Olympia. And when I came out to the Legion, the open show, I was 174.
Right.
So you do more shows.
Yeah.
You're a little lighter, a little bit tighter, a little bit drier.
Yeah, you died a little longer.
Yeah, of course. And man, I I was just blown away. Like first call out, I'm like, oh, first call out, all right. And then moved to the center, and you got Regan.
Yeah, where was that show? That was in Reno?
Reno. The Legion, yeah. Wow. I remember it was Cedric McMillan, Patrick Moore, Sergio, Regan, Max Charles, like heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And then you got little old me, in that first call out with these guys.
And everybody loved it. Everybody loved it because you're like the underdog, right?
Honestly, people want to see that. Like, not just a 212 guy, but like the smallest 212 guy.
Yeah, the smallest.
Yeah, literally, I'm literally the smallest 212 guy in the division. But yeah, people loved it, man. They were
eating it up, man.
It went nuts. And then when I won, forget about it. People just went crazy. Videos and pictures, and I had to just lay low.
The internet just went just exploded.
I had to lay low for a little bit because it was crazy, but it was an amazing time.
Well, let me ask you this. So when you're backstage and you're getting ready, let's say you're getting ready, let's say prejudging was about to happen and you're pumping up, right? Are you eyeing everybody? Because everybody has their own system.
They were eyeing me.
Everybody's looking at you.
Literally, I can see it.
Okay.
I can feel it.
Okay.
I see guys. I'm not gonna name names, but I saw these guys watching me.
Man, don't name names. Let's give initials. Let's give initials. No.
No, but because you got you got what's his name? Milos looking over at me because he's getting ready. And I see Patrick Moore in the corner over here. Big Max Charles is here. Martin Fitzwater's over here, and I'm just going.
I forgot all those guys were in the show.
Yeah.
I just remember Sergio was there.
Sergio.
And I said, I remember Sergio. I remember Regan for sure. And I think those are the two that I remember because I think they were in the top 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm like,
He also has Cedric McMillan.
Yeah, I didn't. Where's Cedric? Where did he land in that show?
So he didn't come back for the finals. He got sick.
Really?
Yeah. He was there for prejudging. He just got sick for the finals.
Where was he in the prejudging? Where was he in the call out?
Second or third call out.
Oh, second or third call out.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's why he didn't come back.
Yeah.
Got it. And then so in that case, where were you in regards to were you getting confident when everybody was looking at you, or were you?
Wasn't paying attention.
No.
Wasn't focused on that at all. I have one goal is to get into that first call out. So I gotta do whatever it takes to make sure I leave that first impression like I belong in that first call out. So I remember coming out there, I was standing next to Max Charles. Cause again, I go by last name. So Max Charles, and you got Shaun Clarida. So Max is right here. I'm just like, I don't care who's there.
Yeah, and Max is a big boy.
Yeah, very big. But yeah, we posed and we did that first initial call out, and then they line us up, and then first call out, boom, 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 and then bang.
And then they put you in the middle.
Right in the middle. And obviously it wasn't because I was the biggest guy.
No.
It was just I had the conditioning, everything was symmetrical, everything just popped. I remember looking at the video like everything just popped.
I remember seeing the pictures, and I go, everyone's like, "What do you think, Hany?" And I go, "He's the most complete."
Complete. That's the word.
Yep. I go, he's the most complete. I said, there's a lot of guys that are bigger than him, but they're not better than him. And so I saw that, and I just said, now it's just the question is, will they give it to him?
Yeah.
And obviously they did.
Yeah.
They did. They made the right decision. I think that ultimately too, I guess my whole thing was that when you were posing and you got put in the middle, were you just starting, like, your confidence starting to grow and
Oh
everything?
yeah, I was eating it up, man. I was
just loving it.
Like we're bumping a little bit, and I always play the game where if you're posing, I'm gonna step a little bit in front of you. I was loving it, every minute of it. Like, and then the final call out was me, Sergio, and Regan. Forget about it. I was like third. I'm in the top 3. I'm gonna give it all I got right now.
Right, you're just hitting the poses,
Went out
killing
there,
it.
just killed it, holding poses, squeezing, getting.
Crowd was going nuts, huh?
Oh man, they loved it. They loved it.
That's awesome.
It was great. It was a great show, great experience.
After prejudging, how did the competitors treat you after prejudging? Like, whether it's backstage or getting ready for the finals? I mean,
no one talked to me. Like, no one, like, everyone kind of just did their own thing.
Really?
We didn't really talk. No.
Okay.
I don't think they liked that. They were too happy with that. You know, because I mean, come into the show like, oh, there's no way this guy's gonna, you know, because there were some people talking crap before the show.
Oh yeah,
we've all seen it, and I'm like, okay, all right. And
yeah, you're a chill dude, man. I mean, you're like a really chill guy. Have you always been this chill?
I don't need to talk. I'm not that guy.
But I'm saying, have you always been this chill?
I feel like I've never always been the same guy. Like you said, I don't wear tank tops. This is the first time, just for you today.
Oh, you know, when we were training, you're like, man, I'm wearing a tank top. I was like,
just
what?
For you, yeah. I'm
hilarious.
just not that guy, man. I'm just quiet. You know, just kind of just do my thing, get on stage, have fun. Don't need to talk about anybody, bash anybody. That's it.
Well, I think that the thing about wearing a tank top, I grew up in an era where even when I was in my best shape, you know, and I never looked 100th of any of you guys ever looked. I was competing as a natural bodybuilder, and I just came from that Dorian era, right? Where it was just like you stay, you know, what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Baggy ass clothes, you know, the gasp style, you know, just, you know, bum equipment, cut out the neck and just something baggy. And the only time you ever took your clothes off was when you get on stage. And that was it. And that was it, you know, or you had to pose after your train the last several weeks. You'd go in your pose, practice your posing in a posing room somewhere. I would go down to Venice Golds because at the time I was living in Santa Barbara. And then, but I would never, ever, doesn't matter how good I looked, I would never, ever wear a tank top, ever. It's just like, man, and it's complete opposite right now, man. Like, because the whole internet's naked. Everybody is like, they're running around with their shirts off. I got my videographer. He's trying to run around with a shirt off. He thinks he looks good. He's laughing back there right now. But I got, you know, he wants to wear his posing trunks. But yeah, but in all honesty, people in this generation of Instagram, everybody wants to either look good or they end up photoshopping their shit or they end up using so many filters and everything else. And then when we grew up in an era where it was just like, you go there, you do a job, you get it done, you go home, and then all you do is the next day start focusing on like going back and training again.
I mean,
you know?
I said it all the time, like, I'm so glad I grew up or came up in the era I did. My first real gym membership was to the New York Sports Club in 2007. I walked in there. And,
where's that?
New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
These guys were wearing baggy hoodies, sweatpants,
Yeah.
boots.
Yeah.
Some guys wearing sunglasses in the gym. Like, these guys were just getting it done. They didn't care about showing off.
Right.
So, like, I kind of like, oh, okay, this is how you should train. Cool. And
who's the bodybuilder you looked up to when you were coming up?
Dexter Jackson. You remember Marvin Ward?
Yeah.
Shorter guy.
Yeah.
These are the guys I looked up because, again, Dexter and Marvin, well, especially Dexter, he was a lighter guy like myself. You know, he was a bantamweight.
Yep.
Turned pro as a light heavy, but he still
100%.
came up as a shorter guy. Marvin Ward, you guys know, he was 4'10", but just jacked.
Yeah, he looked like the trophy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
They call him the statue. That was his nickname.
I didn't even know that was his nickname.
Yeah, the statue. Because he looks like a little statue. But yeah, no, I just grew up in that era where, like, you know, like you said, we don't take our shirt off until we get on stage.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and I regret it now. Believe it or not, I really regret it. Yeah, there's Marvin right there. I regret it. That's got to be, what show was that, Olympia?
That's a New York Pro right there.
New York Pro?
Yep. That's the year we did. So it's funny. We did that same exact show. I forgot what year it was. But 2014, yes, that was my debut. It's funny. Steve, for shits and giggles, puts us next to each other on stage. Two of the shortest guys on that stage. It was funny.
I got, who did I get ready for New York Pro? I got Kevin English. That was the first show I worked with him.
2014?
No. It was before that. Before he won the
Olympia.
The Olympia.
Yeah.
It
You
was
work with all the heavy hitters, huh?
Kevin, man. He was a great guy. Sweetheart.
So that's the interview I did with Kevin, yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, that was in his final Olympias. But if you go back and look at when he was at his biggest,
He struggled to make weight though, right?
Yes.
Like he struggled.
But he also struggled to diet too. Oh, I think that bottom green one, the bottom right green one, that side tricep, that's the year I worked with him, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. But he looked really good that year. But yeah, he struggled to stay on his diet. That dude, he'd eat candy bars, and he called me up. He was like, "Coach, I ate." I go, "What'd you eat?" He goes, "I came out, I ate food I wasn't supposed to eat." And I go, "What do you mean food you're not supposed to eat?" And he goes, "I had like 10 Mars bars.
What?
I had like 10, candy
10?
bars. Yeah, like he wouldn't have like one or two.
You just have one?
No. He would go off the rails, man. He would go off the rails. He was really, really bad about sticking to a program. When he did, great.
Killer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Because he was the king of 202. I mean, he was
King.
did it really, really well at 202. I mean, he was beating Kevin. I mean, Kevin was beating Flex back then because that 202, Flex didn't grind.
Flex Lewis. I'm thinking Flex Lewis. Like, what?
No,
Flex
Flex Lewis. Yeah.
And David Henry. And
all those guys.
Those guys battling. Jose Raymond eventually
That's right.
came up. Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. I think the biggest thing is that when you look at everything going back all these years, the bodybuilding generation is a very different generation than the current generation, the older school bodybuilding, where you and I grew up, right?
Much.
And I think that in a lot of ways, I think it's good, but in some ways it's bad.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing. Tell me what you don't like.
Because guys aren't training for the right reasons anymore.
Oh, you're saying nowadays,
Yeah.
you think that they're doing it for what, for like money, or what do you think?
Well, money or likes and TikTok follows and all this stuff. You see the guys walk around with the tripods filming their warm-up sets, and like, God, they're just doing it for likes. They're not doing it for the love and the passion of that.
What do you think about that? What do you think of influencers?
I mean, I guess we got to have them, but, it's just not my thing, man. I mean, yes, I do have a tripod, but I only do it because I don't have my training partner film my sets. I just film my one top set and
Right, because you have to do your content. Right.
I'm
So
not filming-
are you saying that there's people that are doing this that shouldn't be doing it because they don't deserve to do it, in terms of like what they're shooting is just not heavy enough or intense
No,
enough, or what are you saying?
I just think I just don't. They're not doing it. They're not in the gym because they love training. They're just in the gym to just show off and put up their non-shirt videos. And I see it every day.
Right.
Guys walking around training with no shirt on like that. What's the point? What's the purpose of that?
Are those influencers, or are those some people that are competing too?
Oh, they're definitely influencers.
Oh, influencers.
I think they're definitely influencers because there's nothing about competing, and that screams anything now.
I just honestly, I think it's just a part of the new ecosystem, bro. I really do. I think that they got to get their content too, right?
I get it, but I don't know. There's a reason why I decided to build my own gym. It just got to the point where I just got frustrated. Because that Signature, my home gym in Jersey, we didn't have that.
Yeah, that's a pretty hardcore gym, I heard. I've never been there.
Yeah, I mean, it got hardcore over the years. And we got some serious powerlifters, bodybuilders training there now. And no one's walking around filming their BS sets. And if you're filming your real sets and you're putting it away. You're not just, talking to the camera and walk around with your shirt and shoes off. And so, yeah, no. And then when I came out here, unfortunately, it wasn't that same vibe. And I'm in a gym like, I can't do this. It's not conducive for what I'm looking to do. So it forced me to do something that I didn't think I was going to do and build a gym. So.
Because you were that just frustrated.
Big time. It wasn't even, it was frustrating as hell. I mean, I built my home gym first.
Right.
Because I was like.
Because you moved here when?
After the Arnold last year, so like May. And as soon as I got here, and I found myself, because everything's so far here.
Yeah, everything's kind of spread out.
I get on a highway just to get to the gym. Like, this is ridiculous. So it was like, I'm spending more time.
But everyone does 90 here, so it's okay.
I was spending more time in traffic than I was in the gym. And I'm like, and you get to the gym again, you got the same thing. Machines are broken, and people are using what you need. And I'm like, So I converted one of my garage into a gym. Stairmaster, treadmill, abs, glutes, calves, I have 15 machines in there. And it was so peaceful. It was great. I'm like, this is what I need.
And so that's when you got the idea.
This is what I need. Because I was loving that, right, in the morning. And I didn't go to the gym. It's like, to train. And I'm like, I can't. Like, why?
So how many square feet is the new gym?
5,000.
That's great size.
5,000. It's a personal gym.
Yeah.
Private gym. Everyone keeps asking. Private gym. No outside memberships. No one's coming to train. Just myself, my training partner, and my wife, obviously. But yeah, no, it's gonna be great because obviously I'm handpicking all my equipment myself.
Yep.
Play my own music. Go in and do what I want. Film when I want. Not have any distractions.
And you ended up building the building?
Yeah, because we were looking at different properties and
Right.
warehouses, and they just weren't good. Some were run down, and some had rooms I didn't need, didn't have enough space. It was just like, this isn't it. And eventually, we got the opportunity to just build our own from the ground up.
Welcome to Texas.
Yeah, I mean, there's space everywhere, especially where I live. And so I met with the builders, and like, what do you want to do? I was like, this is what I want to do, and I want.
Did you buy the land, or did you end up renting the land?
Renting the land.
And then they said it's okay as long as you build it.
Absolutely.
However you want.
Absolutely. Because I didn't want to buy, and because right now, especially, I want to eventually after the fact open a bigger gym,
Okay.
or if we move for whatever reason. So yeah,
Because you're up in McKinney?
McKinney.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a nice area up there.
very quiet. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's very chill.
So yeah, no, I mean, we got a posing room, we got an office with a kitchen, bathroom, and then all training space.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna be
then
great.
when is it going to be all done?
It's done. The actual building itself is done.
No, but I think you still have to bring in all the
I
equipment.
got to bring in all the equipment. So
Right.
I say another 2-3 weeks, and
2 or 3
I'm ready
weeks.
to rock and roll.
Nice.
So
Nice.
prep will be done in my own gym.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to do any other shows before the Olympia?
That was something I was thinking about, honestly. You know, obviously with conditioning being an issue, not an issue, but something I really wanted to hone in on for Olympia. I think maybe we should do a show prior to the Olympia just to make sure we're in the right spot. So, I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? I mean,
You know, honestly, you can look at it two ways.
yeah.
If it's somebody that doesn't know how to get in shape because they don't seem to be able to really pull it down enough, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But for somebody like you, I think that if you want to go do an open show, or if you want to go do, are you gonna do an open, or are you gonna do?
It'd be open. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can do an open show and you're like, hey man, I want to go take somebody's lunch money, then I'm like, cool, go do it. But if you're just doing it to try to dial in, to try to better know your body, I don't think you really need to do that, because I don't think you were far off last year.
No.
I just think that you just came in a little too big. I mean, I told you that. Phil, he
Yeah.
told you that. You just came in just a little too big for your frame. And being that you and Phil have a lot of similarities, because both of you aren't the widest guys. So when you're not super wide, you got to be careful of how much muscle you're packing on, because you can start losing some of your geometry and your shape and your symmetry.
Okay.
And so I think that when I saw the pictures, Keon obviously has a huge V-taper, right? You have a huge amount of muscle pop, right? You have this crazy, crazy physique that just has muscle on top of muscle. But when you start to lose V-taper, then it's over. Because what you're doing is you're giving up a huge disproportionate amount of shape, because you're already standing next to somebody who's got crazy shape.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you end up losing even more by putting on too much size, and then it throws off your flow.
Gotcha.
And that's where I would just turn around and say, hey, look, it's just take a little bit more away from the size, 3 or 4 pounds, and then turn around and just work on that crazy conditioning, and just really consider working on just more of the V-taper. And when you said, hey, let's do back, and I said, great, let's just really work on your upper back today, and let's go through it. Because again, I'm just a fan, man. I'm a fan of yours. You know, my family always loves hanging out with your family. We just, talk to your wife, and, your daughter's always there. My son's playing with your daughter at all the shows. And so it's one of those things where, I enjoy it when you come by. And I said, come by, man. Come by, whether it's, whatever body part you want to just come hang out. Again, there's not that many people we kind of associate with, because it has a family per se. So Absolutely. When you do that, it makes things a bit easier. And I was talking to Branch about it the other night, because I saw him at Scott James, who owned used to own BSN, him and Chris Ferguson. Yeah. And we were at his Christmas party. And it's funny because now he's getting ready to have another baby, right? And so It's like, I'm like, listen, old man, something forgot, you know, you're supposed to kind of wind it down. And he's like, yeah, it's easy for you to say, you got a boy. Well, now I'm going to have a boy too. So it's going to be really good. That was kind of a mix between Branch and I think Ronnie Coleman. I think. Yeah, brother.
Oh, man. His son's going to be hunting by the age of 2, guaranteed.
Oh, absolutely.
God.
He's going to pick up a pistol before a rattle.
Oh, yeah. That's so awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, but it was really good to see both of them. I saw Trish and him at Scott's party, and it was really a good time.
I get to see him every day, which is cool because I get to like pick his brain a little bit, get his advice, and then show him updates. Because I don't trust too many people with my updates.
Yeah.
I don't post any. You see my page.
Yeah.
I don't post anything.
Yeah, you do old school like Phil and I did. No updates.
For what?
Yeah.
It doesn't
well,
matter.
Look,
I
dude.
get it. Why?
Right.
For the follows and like
The follows, the likes, the hype, all of that stuff that now the internet, like literally now, in the past, when somebody would do something like that, they would get called out for it. Now they get called out when they don't do it.
Oh yeah, people rip me all the time. We should be posting
Nick
more.
Miller, bro. Nick Miller.
Who?
Nick Power Guy. Okay, Nick Power Guy. So Nick Power Guy, you know, Nick's a good guy. He's a huge bodybuilding fan. And but he literally will start calling people out sometimes for not doing posts, updates, or whatever. And I just laugh because I go, some people are a little bit more old school, like Hany. This is another segue back into, you know, the Hany situation. Derek was really big this year on doing a lot of content.
Yeah.
Right, because he had Trevor. And these guys, you know, they were just like cranking content.
Yep.
And you can tell that his pages started really growing, both his Instagram page as well as his YouTube page. So he told me, he's like, Hany, I am going to go all in. And I said, go nuts, bro. Go nuts. But as a coach that came up back in the day who would not even allow Phil, like I would say, Phil, please don't do it. Because that magic light makes everybody look stupid crazy. And then now people have this like perception of that's what you're going to look like on stage. And you don't, because you got a gallon of water in you. Yeah. You have 5 to 8 grams of sodium in you. You look great right after you get that crazy chest pump, or you just got done doing back and your arms are all pumped up for that split second. But then everyone's going to say, well, you don't look like that on stage. Would you screw up?
Exactly.
And you're like that. So again, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. And that's why I was so adamant against it, because I've got I have a library of updates from Phil that looks insane. Jay actually started pulling out years ago his updates that he used to send me from the bathroom. Of that, you know, did you ever see those pictures of him in the bathroom? Yeah, if you look at Jay's photos of doing the prep, he would go into Las Vegas Athletic Club or whatever that was in Las Vegas where he was training, and he would do the update in the bathroom there, and he would send them to me. And you know, he went back and he took those for years later, and then he would post them up every once in a while. He'll post them. There it is, that right there, that one.
Oh,
those are my updates that he would send to me, right?
2 shower, spa, pool. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so those were the updates. Now, yeah, that was I wonder what year was that?
From the 3rd Olympia.
Right, quad stomping. Yep. Yeah, it tells you, look how wide his waist was there too on that front double bicep. Yeah. By the time we sucked it in, how much difference it became by the time you really dried out.
Okay, like you said, it's food, it's water.
It's food, it's water, and all of those things. But the pictures would always look super impressive when and that was the bottom right there where he's doing most muscular. That was the pictures he sent me during the day before the show. I was going back and forth between the hotels and his house, and that was 2009, and that was his photo after his 3rd or 4th meal he sent to me, and then he kept it, and then he posted it up later. But those are his check-in photos to me after his meals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was right behind his sliding door. That one too. That one's right behind the sliding door. And that one I looked at and I said, yeah, you're still a little flat. Your chest is flat. It's not striated, and then we got to keep eating.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see that? I don't see that. I see craziness right
now. No, his chest is flat right there.
Wow.
Yep. Chest is flat right there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. You can see it on that shot now too. Yeah. And then so we just kept feeding him. And by the time he stepped on stage the next day at night, So that's when he was starting to really get 3D. But
That's awesome.
but yeah, so that's why we didn't post any of those crazy pictures of Phil, because I don't want to set these crazy expectations. Now people are doing that, and they're doing it like, I think that's what happened with Regan Grimes, right? Where some of those pictures, you get the magic light, or they go into in Kuwait and they got the crazy lighting. I mean, tell me what your thoughts are on that. Do you feel like that shouldn't be done at all, or do you think once in a while it's good? What's your thought process?
My thought is not at all. But I mean, everyone's Mr. Olympia by them sitting by themselves. Honestly, let's be real. I mean, just being put it out there. But again, I agree 100%. Like, you look great by yourself, but what happens if you don't show up looking just as good on stage? People are like, well, what happened? Whereas me, you don't know what to expect.
Right,
And
because
for me,
you're on the DL.
If you posting photos every day, that's creating your hype. My hype is people like, I wonder what he looks like under that shirt. They're waiting to see what the unveiling. And that's for me. That's what I look forward to.
Yeah.
Not showing week to week to week. Like, oh, another photo.
Same thing with Hany. Hany was not a guy that liked to do a lot of content, none of that stuff, because it was just always more of a pain in the ass, because he just wants to train, and that's it. So very seldom, he'll do little updates here and there, very small. Now he's going full in because he's seeing everybody else doing it. So he's doing a much more amount of content. We're doing a lot of things. Even when he was here for the prep, I ended up getting somebody who could turn around and use a program and go in there and translate.
Oh,
so
cool.
you see a lot of the subtitles.
Yes.
And that was the other thing I said, because when he came here, I was like, look, dude, you don't do enough out there.
Yeah.
You need to do more, because people need to at least see you, even if you're not going to take all your clothes off. Again, like I said, you got to kind of pick and choose what you want to show, but you got to show training. You have to show lifestyle. You have to show some of those things. And now he's doing much more about showing his family and doing a lot more videos, which I'm very proud of him, because when you're used to growing up and just training and just showing it on stage, you have to do that, because even though you don't show your physique per se, you still do a lot of training.
I put a ton of content.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference. It's just the type of content.
Yep.
You're just not throwing out there, the thirsty shots. The thirsty shots.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Shots. Yeah.
Exactly.
Even though they ask them every day, I'm just like, nope. Wait till the show. Buy a ticket to the show. You can see as much as you want there.
That's right. And so now let's fast forward. You're going to try to decide here pretty soon whether or not you're going to do the open.
Yeah.
And as we go back and we explain, I think you can look at it both ways. If you want to go out there and take money, and that's the goal, that's a good goal to have. But I think if you're just doing it to dial in your conditioning, then keep it for the Olympia stage.
It was more so for that, just to go into an open show and just kill it.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because I want to do, and one thing I want to do this year too, is like, I missed looking at these guys doing the tours after Olympia. Like, we don't have that. The European tours, where they're competing Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. I would love to have done that. But now that I see there are shows in, like, I don't know where they're at, Spain and all these other locations, in Japan, like, I want to hold my conditioning after the Olympia this year and travel. Even if I have the title again, I still want to do more open shows or even 2 12 shows all around the world. So,
well, I think that's going to be much more possible, because now you don't have to worry about it being in December.
No,
right?
It's in October, yeah.
It's in October now. So you're in the middle of October. So now you're going to have a lot more show opportunities after the Olympia.
So that's at least two or three shows after before I shut it down and get ready for the next year. But I'm getting older too, so I want to just go out. I just want to go out now and just go amok, compete everywhere. Obviously, not risk my Olympia conditioning and look, but just go out there and compete. Why not? I've done
I think it's a good way of doing
54 shows so far.
Have you really?
Yeah, 54. I think it is.
So how many pros and how many amateur?
Oh, I don't know.
Those are just total shows.
That's total. Yeah,
total shows. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, what else do you have planned for this year? Anything else? Because like you have YoungLA. We have. I just got done shooting YoungLA. Sorry, LA Fit Expo. We have LA Fit Expo coming up.
Yeah, man.
So you're going to be there.
Let's just
next
start,
week.
Let's just start going back to when I moved here about a year ago. It's been nuts. Between the family moving here.
Do you like it?
I love it here.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
Because obviously I've been traveling for sponsors, and then have a sticker coming out, my own sticker coming out soon.
Yes.
I've got the gym being built, and now I'm traveling. I had the shows at the Arnold. I had the Olympia. Now we're settling into the traveling season. So we got.
When does the sneaker come out? Because you announced it at the Olympia.
I did. We were hoping to have it done before Christmas.
Okay.
but with production, like I've never been in this position before. So my business partner, Devin Carter, he's the one that's and heading everything up and everything. It just takes a long time. Supposedly Chinese New Year and production, it's just a big hold-up phase. So I'm hoping, I keep asking him every day, like, hey, any
What's going on?
updates?
Right.
You know, because I want to get something out
Sure.
there, you know. So we're hoping soon. But in the meantime, getting the gym up and ready the next 2-3 weeks. And we'll start traveling. LA Fit Expo, Arnold, Ohio. I'll be at Arnold, UK. I'll be at the FIBO in Germany. And I'm sure other places.
You're going to be everywhere, bro.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Are you going to Manny's show?
I haven't been invited.
Okay.
So.
Because that's the only one that's after that I know I'm going to.
Yeah.
Is going to be usually the first week of May, right? It's first, second week of May.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm so lost with time. I don't even know.
Yeah, so you're going to be there. I'm going to be there in LA next week for the LA Fit Expo. Then at the beginning of March,
We're in Ohio together.
yep, we're going to be at Ohio because you got your sponsor that you're going to be with there, and then I'm going to be there with the Evogen crew. Then I guess because is it Gasp you're going for or Mutant? Mutant. Okay, so you're going to be there for Mutant.
Yep.
And then after that, 2 weeks later, UK. So we're going to be at Arnold, UK.
You gonna be at UK as well?
So far, we're just hoping that Hany gets his visa
that's
situation
right.
because both of the things are
Yes.
all, contingent on that. Both the Arnold US as well as that because it's never a clear cut thing. Wow. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be the first time him competing outside the Olympia in the United States.
Is there a particular reason why he decided to do the Arnold?
Yeah, because I think that with the prize money being increased, the opportunity for another show to be right after that with also a substantial amount of prize money, I think it's making financial sense for him.
Yeah.
Where with Derek last year, it was more about just trying to get his body a rest, and then now God has given him a baby because obviously it brings down the chances of having a baby when you're in the middle of prep. Yeah. So he ended up getting Jelson pregnant, and they just had their baby a couple of days ago. So shout out to Derek and Jelson, baby Evie. So we've been, Evie. Yeah, if it was a boy, I said you better call him Evo, but it's baby Evie, and it's a carbon copy. The baby's a carbon copy of Jelson.
Oh yeah, I saw pictures.
Yeah. So beautiful pictures.
Derek had nothing to do with this baby.
It's all Jelson. And you know what my wife says? It should look like her. She had to be, she had to take care of that baby for 9 months in her belly. Yep, that's it.
My daughter,
and you men do nothing. And I said, yes, we do something that's very important.
My daughter just like me, thank God. So that's good genetics right there. She's definitely my twin.
There you go. Yep, there you go. There's some really good pictures. They just posted them up here just within the last.
That's definitely her. Yeah. Holy crap. Wow.
That's, yeah. Yeah, doesn't she
that
look
guy?
Like yeah, that looks just like Jelson.
Seriously.
Just like Jelson, yes.
Scary.
There you go.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, she looks like she looks all still glammed up.
Seriously.
Yeah.
She got all done before she
I don't know, man. Maybe she just looked like that during the thing. Yeah, but look at that baby. Look at that baby.
Perfect.
Super cute.
Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's awesome.
God bless, guys. Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, so now we are going to I guess we still got to go hit a meal together because we haven't been able to get to a meal together yet.
I know.
Yeah. So where are we going, man?
Tonight?
I don't know about tonight because it's going to be late.
I was going to say my wife would kill me if I stay out another.
Yeah. If you're going out, you might as well not go back tonight.
Yeah.
If you're going to be out any later than that.
I was like, I don't know if my wife
Yeah. Oh, Hany told me we got to go to this one training.
I'm following the plan.
Training. Yeah. This training. This post-workout thing. Yeah. So we got to do it.
I've been here almost a year. I have not had, besides with you, barbecue, like real barbecue.
You got to do the barbecue, man.
Like we had the one last year after I don't know if that was, you consider real barbecue? I don't know. Yeah, so no.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
we gotta go to like.
Where was the Olympia this year? Olympia, where was it? It was in Florida? This past one?
I think it was.
It was Florida. So
yeah, no, it was in Florida this year where the actual show was.
Yes. So after the Olympia, we went to what we thought was a real barbecue place. Horrible.
Was it?
Very disappointed. And I should have caught that cue when I saw an empty restaurant.
Oh yeah, don't ever go to an empty restaurant.
This is perfect for us. Let's all go here. And it was.
Well, we were talking about it during the workout too. You said that you're not a like a burger guy. Like Derek Loves burgers. I'm a burger guy too. I'm going to admit I'm a burger guy. I'm a sucker for a good burger. But I think you're more of a cookies guy.
Ice cream, bro.
Ice cream and cookies, right?
Ice cream cookie. That's it.
Like a lot of ice cream and cookies. Like will you sit down and eat the whole thing? Like go straight
I'll finish
Kevin English on it and eat it.
I'll finish a whole freaking pint of ice cream in one sitting.
Easily.
No problem. It's got to be mint.
Is your
ice
stomach jacked after that?
cream. Oh.
No?
Cop a few of those GDAs, you're fine.
Oh,
A couple
there you
of digestive enzymes. You may go to the toilet a couple times after, during the night, but you'll be fine.
Straight Dumb and Dumber
My
style.
wife hates me after I eat ice cream. She's like, oh, here we go. But yeah, no, it's good.
That's
Good.
hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, yeah, man, we're going to figure something out. I got to find a good
Yeah.
Persian spot. So you can get some
Persian.
kebabs around here. Yeah.
You got your own kebab now with
Oh,
Megafit.
yeah. Megafit. Shout out to the guys at
Shout
Megafit.
out, Megafit.
Solid. We took forever to work on it. Went back and forth a lot of times.
I'm sure.
But between the basmati rice, between the chicken, the steak kebab, and then we did a beef, ground beef kebab.
Okay.
And the best part about it is that normally chicken is dry.
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
Because it's just so lean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing about it is with the yogurt sauce, it's got like a little tzatziki on it.
Okay.
On the side. You just dip that bad boy in there, dip it in. Yeah, the other guys behind the screen. Oh, yeah. You dip that thing in there, and then just that with a little tablespoon of rice, mix it all up with the rice with that yogurt sauce and the chicken. And honestly, it crushes. So if you haven't had a chance to try Megafit, go check it out, guys.
They're awesome. I've
Yeah.
been with them for a couple of years, and their food is amazing.
Have you tried the kebabs yet?
No, I haven't tried the kebab.
Oh, okay.
yet,
So
no.
Derek now, he's like, oh man, there he goes. He got the kebabs up there on Derek's page. There you go. Yeah, he's a kebab freak. He loves kebabs now. But you got to try the kebabs. You could just do all of them. Do the chicken, do the steak, and then do the ground beef one. There it is. That's it. With that guy that kind of looks like C-Bum. But now I can't wait to see C-Bum's hairline now that he's got
Oh my God, yeah. It's so scary looking.
Yeah, he's trying to get me and you to go.
I'm good.
Like get our hair done.
I'm at the realization that I'll never grow hair again, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, the only hair I got is on my back. You know? but yeah, doing that was really cool. Yeah. And then he's getting ready to have a baby too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The
my whole
real
crew.
baby maker.
Yeah.
Pro making a baby maker over here. Huh? Put to change that name, put the baby maker right here.
The procreator / baby maker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's going into her Courtney's going into her third trimester, right?
Yeah.
She just started her third trimester. And there he goes with the hair, bro. Look at that. He already looks like a dad.
Oh, jeez.
I told him the good thing is that now he won't look like Homer Simpson. Oh my God. But now that he's going to have hair. So.
Everyone's had a baby. I had a baby. Derek's had a baby.
Hany had his during the 2019 Olympia prep. So that was his third. So so he's got 3 kids. And then you have, I don't know, you're getting ready for your second one, right?
Cut the commercial.
Wifey wants another one, doesn't she?
Yeah, she wants a little baby giant killer.
Yeah.
2 running around.
She wants a Shaun part 2.
Little boy.
Shaun Jr.?
Little future Mr. Olympia.
That's it. That's it. It's going to have some good genetics between the two of you.
Oh, my daughter. Oh, forget about it. If anything, like my daughter, she's tall. My daughter is like up to like here on me already. And she eats my food now.
And so, 1 year old? 1 year old.
1 year old, bro. And she's like, every time I have my food, I lay it out in front of me, and she crawls over and just takes a pacifier, just like that. And you gotta like, and if you don't give it to her, forget about it. She's going nuts. So she's eating my beef, my bison, my turkey, and she's sitting there eating it. Look at her. She's eating Megafit right now. So that's the turkey spaghetti from Megafit, and she loves it.
I haven't tried that.
Oh,
is it gluten free or no? Because the bun bowl is gluten free.
Oh, I don't know.
Because the bun bowl has got the macaroni.
It's good,
but bison and
a little spicy, but not bad.
It's a little spicy. Yeah, I add ketchup to it.
Huh, I never did that.
Yeah, it kind of chills out the spice.
Yeah, she eats like a regular freaking adult now. Baby bottle out the door.
That's awesome. Yeah. So guys, I want you guys to let me know what you think. Make sure you go check out the workout I did with Shaun, because we'll go ahead and put the link below as well. Mm-hmm. And if it hasn't been out yet, so stay tuned, because again, depending on how fast the guys end up cutting this and editing it versus doing the workout, it's always a pleasure having you, brother. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing so much insight with Mountain Dog and everything that you went through with him. Again, shout out to him, his family, all his friends. We miss him. Hany Rambod. I'm here with 2-time Olympia winner Shaun Clarida, and that's the truth.